Hi everyone, welcome to our Python Fundamental series. In this video, we are going to learn about strings. In previous video, we learned about variables and data type. We created variables like name, age, marks. That's great. But storing student name is only the first step. Imagine we have a student in our academy. We want to search his name or we want to print his name in capital letters on a certificate or we want to remove extra spaces that he entered while filling up his form. By mistake, maybe he has entered the extra spaces that we want to remove. So can we do all of this operation? Absolutely, we can do that. Python provides strings through which we can be able to perform all of these operations. And we will be today learning and understanding strings and methods related to it, like converting a string to uppercase, lowercase, finding particular positions. All of this thing we will be doing today, and we will be adding a important building block for our student management system project. Okay, so starting with the concept, what is strings? Okay, let's say we have a student whose name is Rahul Sharma. Okay, this is our student. Let me make it a little larger in size so it is visible to all. So in Python, text is stored inside single quotes or double quotes, and that we call as string. So in Python, if we have to store this information, we will be writing as variable name, student name, and storing it in a single quote or double quote. So this is called as string. We will be doing it on the VS Code, but just for the theory part, this is how Python stores the string. Okay. Now coming to the one important concept inside string is indexing. So let's say the same example, we will take it for the continuity. Let's say we have a student whose name is Rahul, and how Python will be seeing this word. It won't see this as a whole word. It will be seeing it as a individual characters and assigning a position to them. So this will be on position 0, this will be on position 1, this will be on position 2, this will be on position 3, and this will be on position 4. This position in Python, we call it as indexing. Okay, so this is called as indexing, a very important concept. Okay, and to be precise, this is called as positive indexing. We also have a negative indexing. In certain scenarios, we require to access the data from the end rather than accessing it from the beginning. And for that, Python provides a flexibility with negative indexing. So let's say we have negative indexing, and in this, the index will be all negative, -4, -3, -2, and -1. These are the negative index. Okay. The important property, or we can say the important thing, is that positive index always has 0 as first index, okay, and negative indexing will always has -1 as last index. Okay, so always remember 0 will be the first index. In Python, we don't start counting from 1, we start from 0. Okay, now moving to another important topic, that is slicing. So let's say we move to the slicing. Slicing is nothing but, let's say we have a text data and we don't want the whole text, but we want a slice or a part of that data. Okay, so that operation is called as slicing. So let's say we have a student name, continue with the same example. We have a student name and we just want that we fetch the first name, not the last name. So for slicing, what we will be doing, we will be writing as Rahul. Let's say we want to fetch this one only. So we will write as first index 0. Then let me make it a little bigger. Okay. So first index, then and index plus 1. Why we are doing? I will tell you. So if we have to fetch Rahul, it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 plus 1 will be 5, and index plus 1. So in slicing, the start index is always inclusive and end index is exclusive. So we have always to write end index plus 1 to fetch the required last character. Okay. And the format will be start index colon end plus 1. That is what the format is for slicing. So this will fetch for us the first name. Let's say we want to jump the characters. Something we want is, let's say we don't want Rahul and we want RHL. So in this scenario, Python also provides step size. So we want every second character. So we will put the step size as 2 and it will allow us to jump. So this parameter is called step size. Okay. Okay. So this is also possible in Python. So we have looked till now, we looked at what string is, what indexing is, positive and negative both indexing we looked at, and what slicing is. Slicing is also possible with the negative index that we will be looking at while we start coding in the VS Code, that we will look practically. Okay, so now let's move to the Jupyter Notebook and start coding. So let's create a day 3 strings dot ipynb. Okay. Okay. So the first step that we will be looking is creating the string. So we have student name as variable and we store the same example Rahul Sharma. Okay. So this is our variable created, and now let's print that. We already looked for this in our previous video and it will print Rahul Sharma. Okay. So this allows us to store the string data. Let's check how we can validate that this is a string type. So there is a function named type in Python which will print the data type. Whatever data you are storing in a variable, it will print that. So student name. Okay, let's print that. So str means string here. So we have validated that this is a validation of string data type. This we have done. Okay, now moving forward, we will be now looking about indexing. Okay, so we have a few example of positive indexing, and we will also look negative. Let's move it to the next cell. Don't clutter the same thing in one cell. Okay. So in positive indexing, what we will be doing, we will be simply, let's say we want to print the student name. Okay, and we want to print the first character. So if we run this, it is R. Let's say we want to print the third character. So for that, index will be 2, not 3, because we are starting the counting from 0. So if we want to print the third character, the index should be 2. Okay, so H. So if we go here, 0, 1, and 2, it's H. Okay, so this is how the positive indexing works. Let's say we want to do a negative indexing. So we will print -5. Okay, so it is printing H. How it is counting? -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. Okay, so it is printing H. Let's say we want to print the last character. So the last character will be -1. Okay, so this is A, the last character. Okay, so now moving forward, we looked at the positive and negative both indexing. Moving with the slicing. Okay, so let's say we want to slice the data from 0 to 5th index to fetch the first name, like we looked into the theory. So it will give us that output. First index, last index plus 1. So that will be our, not last index, but the end index plus 1. That will give us the required output. So this is the slicing. Basic slicing we looked at. Let's say we want to fetch it from the 6th position. Let me do it on the separate line. Okay. And let's say I do not give a end index. So it will fetch the whole data that is available till the end. Okay. So Sharma. One more thing I forgot to tell you in indexing. Let's say I have a index that is not available in our variable. Let's say I create a variable student city and I enter it as Pune. Okay, so this has index till 0, 1, 2, and 3. And if I now try to have the fourth index, if I try to access the fourth index, it will give me the index error because it is out of the range. But not the case in slicing. Like here, if you see, if we don't give the final index, the end index, it will fetch till whatever limit the data is available it will fetch all the data. Okay, so that is how it works. And let's say we want to do a slicing in the step size. We want to skip the characters. So let's say student name, and we want to jump to every second character. So this is slicing and this is step size. Okay, so it will fetch all the characters, or every second character basically it will provide. Okay, now it is also possible to reverse the whole string by using the step size. So let's say I do it, print name, student name, and I enter as -1. So it will reverse the whole string. If you see, RAHUL, everything is printed in the reverse order. So this is a kind of a hack or a trick that many programmers use if they want to reverse the string in Python. Okay. So now moving to the different methods that are provided with the string. Okay. So string methods. So we discussed that, let's say we wanted to print a name of a student on a certificate in capital letters. So how we can do that? So student name dot upper, that is the one that we can use. Okay, just allow me a second. Okay, yeah. Okay, so if we print, it will make the whole string in the uppercase. Rahul Sharma, you can see this. In similar way, we have few more. Oops, we have few more methods available. That will be, one is lower, another one is title, another one is capital, not capital, capitalize. Okay. Okay, capitalize. Okay, if we run this now, you can see the first one converts to the uppercase, the second one converts to the lowercase, the third one have every first character in every word as uppercase, and the last one having the first character only as the uppercase, all other characters as lowercase. So these are different string methods. So now moving to another one. Let's say we want to strip the data. We looked at the question or the problem statement that a student has entered the spaces in his name by mistake while filling up the form. So how we can correct that thing? So we have strip method available in Python strings. So let's say we want to print student name. First, we have to make the data available. So let me create a data that has the space or something like that. So we can strip that. So we have a student, because current data does not have a strip at the beginning or does not have a spaces that we can strip. Okay. So let's say I enter the spaces and okay. I don't know why. Okay. I got it. Okay. Now we want to print without spaces. So we can do student dot strip. This method will remove all the space in the beginning, in the end, both sides. Okay, now let's say we want to have space only removed from the right side, so we will use R strip. It will remove the space from the right side. If you see, left side still have the spaces, right side one is removed. If you want to do the similar thing but remove space from the left side, so we will use L strip. So if you see, left side space are removed, right side at the end still we have the space. So these are the methods through which we can strip the data. Now moving forward with find operation. We already discussed that, let's say we have the list of students and we want to find, so how we can do that. So print student name dot find, and what was the name? Was Rahul. So basically it will give us the index where this starts. So it is at the 0th index. Let's say I want to search for Sharma. So it will gives us the starting index. Okay. Now we have a similar function known as index. Okay. So student name dot index, and we enter Sharma. This will also give us the result as 6. So what is the difference in these two? Let's say we enter something that is not a part of our string. So here I enter, instead of Sharma, I enter Verma. Okay. So it will give us the value error. Whenever it is not able to find, Python is not able to find a particular string in the given variable, it will give us an error. Now, if we perform the similar operation with find function, it won't give us the error, rather it will give us a -1 as an output. So in certain scenarios, we require that we don't get an error. The program should not get halted or break down due to such error. So in that scenario, we will use find. Okay. Now, how we can count the number of characters? Okay, number of occurrences basically. So if I print student name and I type it as count, and what we want to count? We want to count, let's say we want to count how many character A are there in Rahul Sharma. So there are 3 A's. Okay, let's validate that once. So here 1, 2, and 3. So it will count the number of characters that are present in a given set of string. Now moving on to the next function. This is basically the count method. So this all methods will be very useful when you are actually building or working on a project. Okay, so this concept are building blocks for that. So let's move to the next topic, that will be replace. Okay, let's say we print student name dot replace. We want to replace Rahul with Ajay. Let's say the name is changed and we want to replace it. So now it will print Ajay Sharma instead of Rahul Sharma. Okay. So that is how this will work. And we have another method that will be starts with and ends with. Okay, starts with and ends with. Okay, these are the two methods. So this is basically to validate if our data is starting with a particular name. Let's say I want to validate how many Rahul are there in my academy. So that will be very easy with this function. Okay, so Rahul, if I run this, yeah. So it is starting with Rahul. And if I say Ajay, it will give me false because the variable name is not starting with Ajay. Okay. And similar thing we can do with ends with function also method also. So let's say I want to validate how many or is this variable ending with a particular string. Let's say Sharma. Ends with. Okay. Yes, it is ending with. If I type it as Verma, it will give me a false output. Okay. So these are the method through which we can validate. Okay. And the other method that we have are we can also calculate the length of our string. So let's say we want to print the length of the student name. So the length is 12. And if I, let's say I want to measure the length only of the first name. So this we can use whenever we want to measure the length. Okay. And moving on to the next topic, that will be concatenation. Okay. So what we will do, let's say we have first name as Rahul, we have last name as Sharma, and now we want to concatenate both of them. So how we can do that? It's very simple. We want to build a full name, first name plus we also need a space in between of them. So we will enter a space with double quote and plus last name. So this will combine the output and we can print the full name. Okay. So this is how the first name, last name concatenation operation can be done. Now, moving forward, let's say we want to typecast a integer to a string value. Let's say we have marks as 90 and I want to print in the string format. So I can write student name plus score plus I can write string. The advantage that we get by using this typecasting is that we will be able to use all the operations that we saw because that operations are only valid with the string data type. Okay. So if we do that, you can see here Rahul Sharma scored 90. Okay. So today we learned what is a string, how indexing works, what is negative indexing, what is positive indexing. We also learned slicing, step slicing, and reverse slicing. All of that type of slicing we learned. We learned about uppercase conversion, converting to the lowercase, making capitalized, title case. All this we practically done in the code. Okay. Then we also gone through the stripping of data. We want to remove spaces or any unwanted characters. Also, we can enter the characters inside this parenthesis if we want to remove any unwanted characters. That also we learned. Then we studied about find and replace methods, how we can use find, index, how we can count the number of characters, how we can replace them. Then starts with, ends with, that two functionality we learned. Split and length we learned. And in the next video, so till now, this all operations we performed on one single student name. But let's say we have 500 student in our academy. Creating 500 variable is not practical. In the next video, we will learn about list, which will allow us to store multiple values together and take another big step in our building journey of the student management project. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video.